Hey, what's up, guys? In this video, we are going to be discussing and revealing our process for producing Note to Self. And before we begin, I want you to check out the links in the description. We're gonna have the lyric video in there, and then a fire link. What's it called? Where it has a link for like everything else.
All the different places that it streams.
So
Listen on
Spotify, listen
headphones
on
or on a
headphones,
good speaker system,
on a good
not on
speaker
your computer
system.
or phone.
So I don't even remember, what was the process? How did it start?
It started with you learning about my musical tastes
Hmm.
and discovering how much I loved Western, Wild West kind of spaghetti Western stuff, Ennio
Yeah,
Morricone, and you went looking for good sample packs that
electronic
would
things that
that
would
would
fit.
reflect that and that we could work with. And then
Hmm.
you came and said, I found something. I think you're really gonna like it.
And it
And
was a
you,
good like starting point.
yeah, it was a great starting point. Yeah.
And from there, I was like, "What do you think of this?" And I added some stuff to it. I just
Mm-hmm.
added some stuff to it.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, what was the lyric um, process like?
The lyric process was I went through because I always keep a collection of lyrics that I want to use at some point, and I had been wanting to use these lyrics. I'd written them when my dad was really sick and dying, and I wanted to find a way to work these lyrics into one of the songs on the record, and it worked out. I actually improvised
Hmm.
with the rough structure that you created, and we pretty much stayed with the improv. Like, pretty much what I
Yeah.
did that first time we tried it ended up on the record, which is very
Yeah.
cool.
Are
And that
you?
happened a
Yeah.
bunch of times.
It did.
Yeah.
Are you constantly writing like
Yeah.
new stuff and
Yeah.
just?
I write a bunch of different ways, and I just keep, it's like a bag of, not actually a literal bag, but it's a place, I keep it um, mostly in a file online,
Yeah.
and I just write stuff.
Yeah.
And when something feels like it might end up being good to draw lyrics from, I
Hmm.
put it in my folder. And then when I'm in the mood to write and create
Hmm.
a song, then I just kind of can grab from that
Yeah.
toolbox, the writing toolbox.
There's been a few instances where you'll like just be kind of jamming with your little ukulele.
My setup. Oh, my Gitalele.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we're just waiting in the line for the ferry or whatever's happening. And I'd be like, that was a nice song. What is that? Is that a cover? And you'd be like, no, I just made that up.
Yeah, no, that's the other way that I write,
Yeah.
and I've been doing that a lot lately in the last couple years anyway,
Hmm.
where I just will have there'll be a moment. Well, that's how I wrote the first song that I ever wrote about Brent when we first met.
Hmm.
He was coming home from a big party.
Yeah.
Uh, well, coming home as in like the next day.
Yeah.
He'd gone
I didn't
taken a
sleep.
he had
Yeah.
not slept, and he showed up to hang out, and we were not a couple. And he
Don't
just
mention the thing that happened because
no, I won't mention
YouTube has a
anything.
thing
But
about.
he had had a lot of fun and
Yeah.
done a lot of weird and crazy things. We should
Yeah.
probably share this with your fans at some
At
point
some
and
point,
your
but
friends and
not
stuff.
on YouTube
Not maybe
because
not
they're
now.
cracking down on that sort
Yeah,
of thing.
not
But
now,
yeah,
not now.
I do
But
not
anyway,
I do not endorse or disclose or whatever.
they're now gonna really wonder what you did at this
Yeah.
party.
Well, there's a song about it, and I think is it on the record?
It's no, it's not on the. It actually got cut from the record.
Oh, okay.
We made 2 or 3 extra songs that we did not release,
Yeah.
or we're not releasing. We haven't released the
They were
album
like
yet.
reserve
But
songs.
maybe we'll share them in another way because I
Yeah.
think they do deserve to be shared. But
Hmm.
we digress, don't we?
We do a lot,
So
which is fine.
you walked
People
into
like
the
it.
room. I was set up with
Yeah.
my synth and my
Yeah.
vocalizer and all my little system, and you
Yeah.
walked in the room kind of like skulking in, and I was like, I started playing something,
Yeah.
and I often will just hit record on my little device, my phone
Yeah.
or whatever I
A
have.
lot of
Usually I use
voice
my phone.
memos.
Yeah, voice memos basically.
Yeah.
And I clicked record,
Hmm.
and that was the beginning of also the song Big Heart, which did end up on the record.
Yeah.
It's the last track on the record, and those were
I think you
improvisational.
changed a line.
I sure
Um,
did.
but
We
yeah.
won't talk about that though.
Yeah.
There's
No,
all
I'm
these
talking
things
about
we
like an
can't talk
entire
about.
an entire verse you changed around. Anyway, that's for that video. But for this video,
Yeah.
note to self.
Note
Okay,
to self.
so note to self. How I remember it is, I was like, we were working on this record, and it was like a lot of fun, and we're just like completely dedicated. I was like, it's missing something. You know what you need? You need a Western themed.
Yeah.
And I remember that, and I was watching Dances with Wolves, and that's how I got the idea.
Hmm.
Which isn't spaghetti Western, but it is
It's
pretty Western.
related to the
The
Western. They
music.
were probably inspired by spaghetti
Yeah, yeah,
westerns.
yeah. And I was like, man. So what we did, yeah, we did that. I was like, come on in, I got something. And you liked it.
And pretty much right away, I said we have to get Dave Quanberry. Dave Quanberry is he's my favorite, one of my favorite guitarists that I know, and
Mhm.
he happens to be a friend, but he's just so good.
Yeah.
And he has his own project, and
Hmm.
but he was living in Nashville, or sorry, Austin, excuse me,
Hmm.
Austin, Texas, for a very long time. He's back living in Canada for a while,
Yeah.
but he's great, and we got him to do his thing, and that
Yeah.
added a
And
lot.
you know what's really crazy is, I didn't know Dave,
Mm-hmm.
and here's how like studious I am.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell the story.
Mm-hmm.
It only embarrasses me.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, so record your guitar. I want the DI as well. I want the dry input because I want to be able to reamp, and I didn't know that that was not cool to ask. But he is, I guess, yeah, he's a master of getting the right tone, and he got the right tone, and I didn't
Yeah.
need to process the guitars
Like
anymore.
a
And he's,
good electric
yeah,
guitar player knows their
he
tone.
knows.
They're gonna know how to make their guitar
And I had
sound
never
the
worked with
best.
a guitarist
Yeah.
before, and yeah,
He
so
was cool about it
he was
though.
cool about it,
Yeah.
but he's just like, why don't you whatever? And I was like, oh yeah, maybe I shouldn't.
Well, this is worthwhile mentioning for people that are not, that don't know not a lot about guitar playing. With the electric guitar,
Yeah,
your the the effects and the amp and all that
and the mic in the room.
are actually your instrument.
Yeah,
They are your
I didn't know
instrument.
that.
Your instrument, like the actual body of the guitar, is
Yeah.
like only half of what your sound is when
Hmm.
you're playing. You actually play the effects. Like
Yeah.
when you're playing the wah
Yeah, yeah,
pedal or the
yeah.
volume pedal or all these different things, they are as integral
Hmm.
to the actual artistic output that you're
Yeah.
doing as the actual playing of the
Well, why didn't you
notes.
freaking
I
tell me
didn't think of
that? It
that.
saved me the embarrassment.
Whatever. Dave was cool, but would that happen with Dave with the other record as well with Noah, this other guitar player we worked
Yeah,
with, where he was
that's
not at all interested in giving a DI. He's like, I never do that. I just don't
yeah.
do that.
And I was like, okay,
We were cool,
and
but
it was easy.
yeah. So now you know. Now you
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
Working
yeah.
with.
I don't know if we're clipping or not, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Um, Also,
Mm.
Dave, he plays the guitar backwards and upside down.
That's
No, he
right.
plays it
He
upside
taught
down.
himself. He's left-handed, and he taught himself how to play the right-handed guitar
Are the strings upside down?
backwards. Yeah,
The strings are
like
upside.
literally, and
So
it's
the wait, how does it go?
so the bass string,
Is
which is
on
usually
top.
on the top,
Oh, it's
is
on the
on the
bottom.
bottom. So when he plays, he's playing like up rather than down.
What a
Yeah,
gangster.
check
Okay.
his stuff out. He's really good.
Yeah. So let's kind of get into this. Another member of the team that we haven't mentioned yet,
Mm.
Anthony Dolhai
Anthony from Dirty Radio.
from Dirty Radio.
Yeah.
There was a lot of really cool people that contributed to this project,
Hmm.
and Anthony Dolhai was one of them, and he did the mixing.
Yeah, he's phenomenal. He's
I kind
great.
of went, 20%. He took it the rest of the way,
Mm.
and he made it kind of sound the way it sounded.
Mm-hmm.
And Harris,
Harris from Grey Market
Gray
Mastering,
Market
based in
Mastering,
Montreal.
mastered it.
Yeah.
So that's and this
Yeah.
is one of like the most kind of stripped down tracks that we have.
Mm-hmm.
The other ones are like far more complex.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Not
that's true.
complex. I don't know how to
Dense.
dense.
They have
Yeah.
more
So there's like a lot of them are
stuff going
dense
on.
and electronic, and we're just like, we need something.
This is like the chillest, most relaxing.
Yeah.
Although Big Heart's pretty chill.
It's pretty chill, yeah. But this has just a lot of space in
There's
it.
a lot of space. I
And
really
it's
like that. I
vintagey.
love space in music. If anything, I can critique our album in that I
Yeah.
think sometimes it's maybe a little too dense, but it works for what it is. It
Yeah.
actually really works.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to do another project that's really stripped down, which is
Yeah.
probably the next thing I'm going to do. It's going to be just very,
Yeah.
very minimal.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we'll see.
So what we decided on a thumbnail. What should the thumbnail be? Was it
Upside down
upside
dabbing
down dab? No, we should which direction? We should look up there.
or the other way.
So we have two choices for
Oh God.
the thing there. So let's open up our Ableton gadget. So this is I guess, this is note to self. And something that's really interesting at the top is what I just remembered is you dislike the Ableton metronome.
Oh.
Remember?
Yeah.
So we have this little click track here at the top in MIDI that we can take in and out.
Yeah, that's
And you like that more
much
than
more pleasing.
than this one. Oh wait, did I replace it or am I hallucinating?
Oh yeah, that's so irritating. That sounds like a oh, I cannot
I know.
stand that sound.
So find a metronome that your artist will appreciate
yeah,
and won't.
because then it sounds musical.
And what the
Yeah.
metronome, you can change it now in Ableton 10 easily, well, more easier, and you have more control over it. But that ding, ding, it can like cause some ear fatigue and stuff like that.
Oh,
So
it's a great thing to know how to do.
yeah,
I would probably do that immediately,
yeah,
right from the start.
yeah. So that is we got through the click track. 12 minutes later, we got through the click track, which we sent in Dave Quanberry.
Yeah.
Another trick, just a quick little tip, is put in a dummy MIDI track. So when you send out and you render out everything as stems, you select this, and this makes sure that all your stems are consistently the same length. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's just a dummy. There's nothing on it, and it's just a blank MIDI track, and you just kind of go through boom, 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 boom. So when you send off the stems for mastering. So let's get to the vocals. So I guess we'll play it. Want to play it from the beginning? How should we do this? Should we?
Yeah. We could do it with commentary,
Yeah.
or we could just play a section and then talk about it.
Play a set, or do you want to go through like each one by one?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because it's like vocals and then harmonies.
I mean,
drums.
we're presuming that you have gone and listened to
Yeah.
it, so you've already heard it once.
So you've already heard one, so
Let's hope. Yeah.
Let's kind of go through things here. So let's start off with the vocals.
Sure.
Okay. So I'll just play a tiny bit of it.
Nothing but the truth is said and done.
Right. So how did we achieve that? So you are a big fan of like a microphone sound that sounds, it's thin but it's not thin.
I think it complements my voice because I have a ton of mid range in my voice.
Yeah.
My voice is kind of, they call it like a dark sound.
Yeah.
So when I use that thinning effect, it actually makes my voice sound a lot more clear, which I personally like. I don't use it on everything, but a lot of times, like even when I'm mixing my voice live, I'm always turning the mids down and the high end a little up.
Yeah.
Because that's just the nature of the sound of my voice.
Yep. So
you have to work with an individual artist to figure out, but this effect, I also just think it really suits.
It's a timeless kind of effect. Because like the microphones didn't have the frequency response that they do now.
Yeah, it makes it sound a little more, I mean, we were going for a vintage sound, right? Yeah. So it makes it sound a little more, it places it in the time frame of the music. So it's appropriate to the actual time frame of the music. That's what I think anyway.
So how we achieved that is
we use mic simulators.
Not for this one.
No.
Well, we kind of did.
Yes, we did. I thought we did.
We did. We used the T-Rex one, but not for this one.
Oh, okay.
The telephone mic amp room we used. But for this one, it's kind of hard. We worked
tried a
on
bunch
it.
of different
We
things
tried
with
a bunch of them, and we're just like, So then I was just like, F it, I'll just build my own.
Okay.
So I used a classic LA2A leveler, which it compresses, but it rides the audio and makes it consistent.
I remember now, yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
And then I did some like EQ work post compressor right here, and then I use something called a decapitator
Oh yeah, I remember
on
this.
the it's called a culture vulture preset with a little bit of drive. And what this does is this it emulates what equipment does when you drive it quite
Mm.
a bit.
Yep.
So what we're doing with the EQ8 is we're taking away a bit of harmonic and tone, and then we're adding it back in. So what we're doing is we're leveling it out, and then kind of simulating with EQ8, simulating the 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 response of those old microphones, or
Mm-hmm.
guesstimating,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, because we don't have vintage ribbon mics here.
Yep.
I don't have that kind of money.
Nope.
Like, I have my Ferraris back, but I can't afford those crazy ribbon mics that they used. And yeah, it was kind of tricky to get the decapitator. Decapitator is really easy to mess up, and kind of overdo it. So what I did with the utility is I controlled the amount of gain that was going into it. So when you're singing kind of like more loudly,
Mm-hmm.
that would like completely get smudged into the decapitator. So I brought the gain down with some simple automate. I'll just show you just some of that
Yeah.
simple automation there
Oh
during the
yeah.
loud parts, right?
Yeah.
And that prevented it from just getting mushed.
No, that's good. It means there's still dynamics, and it's not,
Yeah,
yet
it's not
it's.
so much. There's not so much dynamics. It's just the drive isn't, because like this is like gentle saturation to
Mm-hmm.
distortion to like, what the hell, like everyone in a 60-mile radius is now deaf. Right? It's like, yeah, that's why it's called decapitated, and there's different kind of algorithms. So we kind of custom built a vocal tone that you
Mm-hmm.
liked.
Yeah, and it
and
really worked. I'm
and
quite
yeah,
happy with it for this track.
yeah,
We did different stuff on every track,
every
didn't we?
every
Every
track
track
we
was
did
its own.
something different.
But I feel like they all, I mean, because we had an aesthetic in
Yeah,
mind,
we
it
did.
ended up working together. But yeah, each song has its own sound.
Yeah, its own tonal quality, and I think the vocal is the focus.
It is for this. It's a vocal. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah. They're songs.
yeah,
They're not just tracks.
yeah,
Not that I shouldn't say just tracks,
yeah,
but yeah, in this type of music, the voice is very prominent.
yeah, exactly. And harmonies. So how did the harmonies come about?
Well, what's interesting, I was thinking about this with the harmonies. I just again improvised those, and that
Yeah,
that was the first take.
yeah,
And I had it in mind. I mean, I've always liked sort of call and response, and that
yeah,
it has a sense of call and response. We used a harmonizer for that.
yeah. Yeah,
And
I
it
just play a
and it
little
has
bit.
a
Yeah,
particular sound. It sounds like a harmonizer, but
yeah,
I thought it was pretty effective. Check it
yeah.
out.
Right. It's
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, and
Yeah,
there's a lot of echo. It's very like
yeah,
foresty kind of
yeah,
singing on the mountaintops. The other thing is that my harmonies on this track were not tuned, whereas the lead was. I mean,
yeah.
you kind of tune everything in this day and age. Although I have pretty good intonation, but I tuned my own vocals,
Hmm.
and I'm pretty good at using Melodyne. And I never tune them 100% though. I'm always leaving. I just like tweak them towards the
Yeah.
where they're supposed to be, but I don't like that exact perfect tuning. To me, that sounds so tacky. It's not my style.
It's
But
like T-Pain.
the harmonies, well, no, that's even next level. The harmonies though were not tuned, and I like that
Yeah.
they're a little bit out of tune because it adds that, it feels natural to
Yeah.
me, more natural, and I like that. So
I think the
yeah,
human ear can
can tell.
can tell.
Yeah.
And it kind of goes back. Yeah, like you could sing with like perfect pitch, but then if you record a tape doesn't play at the right
Mm-hmm.
thing, and like vinyl doesn't play at the right speed.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
It's more
yeah,
organic sounding,
it's
and
more
I
organic
like that.
sounding, and it was
Yeah.
just a simple gate with LA2A on there, just to
Let's
kind
hear
of
a little more of it.
yeah. right? And those reverb effects and things were right from the unit.
Yes, they were.
Yeah.
And I really like that. That's why I picked, because there's different settings, and that
Yep.
particular preset was so
Yeah.
so good for the sound, and it worked out really
Yeah.
well.
And there's like this brittleness and
Yeah.
organicness at the
At the
same
same
time,
time. Yeah, it's pretty
and
cool.
you can't recreate that. We're like the cool kids. Anyway, yeah. LA2A roll off with EQ8 and a
Can we play the lead and the harmony together just to
oh
hear what they
yeah,
sound like interacting?
yeah.
Will you love me like this? Can you play at the beginning of the song when they first come in? Because that's also neat how they build.
Oh yeah.
Will you love me like this? I thought it worked out really
It
well.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Anthony took this and just went
Yeah,
to
he took it to the next level. Yeah, I'm really happy with
the
that.
mountaintop. So those are the harmonies.
Can I just totally
Yeah.
mention, because
Yeah.
I have ADHD and my brain just jumped to something else, but
Yeah.
I think it's kind of cool, is that someone, when you tweeted out about this song, one of your followers said, "Hey, can I have the stems? I want to remix this." And I was thinking, I would love. I mean, I've been thinking about doing a remix
Yeah.
contest, but the thing is, like, what would the prize be? So maybe you guys can tell us
Yeah.
what would be a cool prize within reason.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have a gigantic budget and things like that, but would there be a neat prize that you guys would be
Yeah.
into in a remix contest? So
Mm-hmm.
think about that. Let us know.
Well, good idea. So you'll notice that there's like these little like non-activated things are here. There were harmonies in some points that we decided to take out,
Mhm.
and instead of just deleting them, you can just right-click and deactivate. And what that does is that kind of just it's still there, but it's not there. So if you want to go back, it's
Yeah,
kind of
it's
like a non-destructive way of auditioning things.
non-destructive editing. I
Mm.
like that. Because we did sometimes like take
Yeah,
something out and then go back and say, "Oh no,
yeah,
we
yeah,
actually
yeah.
need it again." Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. So then we have drums, which are kind of choppy, but that's fine. Bells, things of that nature.
It's
Right, just
great.
basic,
Very symphonic.
basic things, yeah. And just yeah, the glue compressor is not actually doing anything, which is cool. It's fine. No one's perfect. And yeah, I think I just put that on there. I'm not even sure if it's doing anything harmonically, but I went a little too far with maybe compression. I could just kind of dialed it back to the point where like it's not doing anything. Maybe
Hmm.
just to balance out with the rest of the track. Who knows? When did we make this?
Like a good year
Yeah,
ago, a year ago.
yeah.
Yeah.
So those are the drums, and we added a bass,
Yeah, the bass was fun to
and
do,
it's
and
from Trillion.
yeah,
So it's just
Trillion's amazing.
the
What a
basic,
great program.
yeah, basic kind of bass patch,
Basic.
basic. It's kind of like
I
a DI
remember
sound.
we were I have this thing for 70s sounding bass.
Yeah,
That's kind of it's like a particular sound, so I remember scrolling through trying to find that exact right 70s sound.
yeah.
Yeah, it worked out.
And the thing about this is this kind of there's no it's like mic'd up close, so there's like the bass is I don't know, it's kind of there as opposed to like the reverb on everything else. You know what I mean? The
Mhm.
bass is like
Mhm.
super gentle
Mhm.
and in the directly in the middle. If that
Mhm.
makes any sense? Yeah. We got some brass. Brass was cool.
Mhm.
Um, added some Pro R, which sounds great.
Let's hear let's
Yes,
hear
let's
some of
hear.
it.
Yeah. Right. And they're just kind of grouped together with a bit of EQ, another gate. You know, gates are fun. Yeah, no other effects on there. Yeah, mostly the Pro R reverb,
Mm-hmm.
versatile reverb. I don't know, like finding a good reverb that Tina likes is kind of difficult.
Yeah, I feel like I need to go and get a master's degree in reverb creation because
Yeah,
it really to get the perfect reverb is challenging and
yeah.
it's so important. But
So yeah, every time I try to get like a headphone mix, it's like okay, let's try this plate one, let's try this one, let's try da da da.
takes a while.
The Ableton one is not quite up there. You kind of like the do you like the T-Rex one? I remember using that one, the T-Rex.
Maybe because it's called a T Rax and I'm Tina.
Yeah, T-Rex room or plate or something like that. Some sort of modeled whatever. Are you a fan of spring reverbs?
Yeah.
Oh, you have a spring reverb amp back there.
I like spring reverb, especially on guitar. It sounds
I like
great.
winter reverbs.
The thing with reverbs,
Yeah, sorry.
oh, ha, ha, ha. I think, as a singer,
Yeah,
your reverb again, it's kind of like guitar. Okay,
yeah,
as a singer, your reverb is part of your instrument because the reverb extends and
yeah,
makes the sound so different. Like if you're
yeah.
singing in a completely dry space
And you have
versus
your headphones on, so it's like,
it's
oh my god. But like, yeah, it's kind of like singing. Why do people like to sing in
sing
it?
in the
That's
shower
singing in the shower
exactly
is
because it
because there's
changes the
like there's
sound.
reflections and stuff
And
like that.
that adds all these I don't know if it's overtones. I actually don't know the technical term, but it extends and creates all these different harmonics and
Yeah,
so without the right reverb, it's hard to sing properly,
yeah,
essentially.
yeah.
So,
And it's easy. It's easier to belt with a bit of really good
mhm.
reverb.
Mhm.
And yeah, reverb.
I'd say the appropriate reverb rather than good because there's so many different
Yeah,
kinds. It's funny though because like 90s music, a lot of 90s music had almost no reverb at all. Like there was this
yeah,
long period of time in music where reverb was like very out of style. So reverbs have they're kind of like skirt hem lengths and heel shapes in fashion where different reverbs kind of gain and lose popularity according to the time. I don't know why. It's probably that some trendsetter uses a reverb in a particular way and then everyone
yeah,
follows suit. Um, and I'm trying to think. I'm not like a music historian, but I think like someone like I mean Lana Del Rey, which a lot of people have said this track sounds a little bit like, which I would agree. I think it could be in that similar genre.
yep,
But she was one of the people at the time, maybe like in 2011, 12 when she was first getting big. And she was bringing back the reverb. She was
yeah.
really into
Like
it.
the plate.
Mind you, then like a band like Fleet Foxes 10 years ago or more was using a lot of reverb and
Yeah,
so it's not like reverb ever went away, but definitely it's like, yeah, I don't know what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that like reverbs go in and out of
you
style
don't know what you're
different.
saying. That's perfect for the channel. It's
Oh,
like I
excellent,
never know what
excellent,
I'm. Oh
excellent.
my god, I hate
Oh,
clipping.
did we clip?
I don't know. Did
Oh,
we? Who
I
knows?
talked too loud.
No, I think because we both talk at the same time. Anyway, we have strings next, with
Strings.
just basic EQ, kind of shapey shape.
Now, can I just say that if we had had the budget, I would have liked to have had an actual string quartet do these string sounds. I don't mind that they're samples. It's
Yeah,
cool, but I mean, one of my good friends slash bandmates, Melissa, did strings on other songs on the record. And
yeah.
looking back, I wish I'd had her do it because I think it would have been that much kind of
Hmm.
richer. But these did a pretty good job. They did a pretty good
Yeah,
job. Yeah.
we did. Yeah, we were fancy. Well, she was recorded 4 times playing
Yeah.
different section or whatever you
Yeah.
call
She
it.
made her own
And
quartet.
yeah, and
Yeah.
we put it together, and
That was
it
great.
was a quartet.
Yeah. We'll have to do
Yeah,
a video on each song, I guess, and we'll
yeah,
talk about that on the song she recorded.
yeah. The violins we took out just because they didn't seem to fit what we were doing. Trumpet. Trumpets are difficult. I've recorded trumpet
You play
recently.
trumpet, right?
Well, in high school I
High
did.
school, you played trumpet. Oh, but we recorded Jack. That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like getting okay, so like miking a trumpet, like with a microphone right at the trumpet,
Mm.
it just sounds not good. Like a trumpet, kind of like a snare, needs to be in a space.
Hmm.
So I added a reverb and some delay to the trumpet at the end here.
Excellent.
So
Man,
it's
that just
like
gives me
far
goosebumps. I
away,
love that.
right?
So
So it's
beautiful.
space. But if it's like, if someone like plays a trumpet right into your ear, it's not comfortable. Well, some people are into that, I guess. Long delay type of thingy going on there. Yeah, but now we're into the super cool part. Dave Quanberry, which
Oh,
I just
yeah.
added a delay. So he sent us a bunch of guitar parts, and then we just decided to use all of them.
I mean, that's what happened every time Dave sent us. He
Yeah.
would go like, "Here, I'm giving you all these options, and just
Mm.
use and discard what you want." And and pretty much without exception, we wanted to use everything he sent because he's so
Yeah.
good. So yeah, that's what happened.
So there's
Let's play some.
four guitar things here. I'll just play this first one. It's like a
It's
baritone
baritone
one,
guitar, yeah.
and that is along there, and that
Let's.
that's his effect. I put the ping pong on there for some reason, right?
Can you play another part that's got like a little more? Oh, wait,
Right, and then we have the other guitar part, which is right
yeah, yeah.
here, which is pretty dope. Also, no effects.
Nice. Oh, that kind of. It
Yeah,
sounds like. Oh,
I know.
it instantly brings a vibe.
Yeah, and
Oh yeah.
that that vibe.
It sounds warped.
Yeah,
Like the heat has warped the sound of the guitar to the point where you're
yeah.
like in this desert or
Well, the thing
something.
about
I
those
love
old
it.
Western films is like, they paid whoever like a gajillion dollars, put them on the cover of the poster,
Mm-hmm.
and then they paid the soundtrack, like the people that made the music, like $20. So they didn't have a budget.
Mm.
So it was just like, let's just whistle, like, or you know, put things in a reverb tank and just do some stuff. So these are take 3 and 4 for those following at home. These they're panned left and right, and Tina and I kind of liked what we did, and this is what it sounds like. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I don't know. We just
It adds. It just makes this big sense of expansive
yeah,
space.
and just a whole bunch of. I imagine just a guy smoking a cigarette, sitting on the amp, and just playing, and they're just recording.
It's a little bit like that gigantic game that just got released. It's like it should be the
Oh,
soundtrack.
Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that was
We'll get that on the next. Is there music on that?
yeah, there is.
Not this kind of music though, is it?
Pretty
Or,
close.
oh
No,
my
it's
goodness, what
Western
are we
music, and
doing?
I believe they hired Western actors, like
Oh yeah,
the
that's right.
classic Western actors that did
To make the
voice.
voice, yeah,
Yeah,
that's one of the reasons why it's so good.
Mr. Marston, that's a mighty fine dead body you're hauling behind your horse. So here's my creativity. I added like a timpani from some sort of sample pack, right? Just
Mm-hmm.
you know, get a timpani and just whatever.
Love timpani.
Put those in, and then froze it, flattened it, and stuff like that. Because for some reason the preset kept on resetting every time we opened the project, which is a pain, but whatever. So here's the synth element, and we went with modular V. Don't get frightened.
Look at this.
Um,
I remember seeing this and going, "Oh,
yeah, so it's the preset called Big Room, but it's heavily affected. It's a little classic kind of sequence. Right. It's run into multipass by kilohertz. Things are kind of split up. Got a filter and a saturator and a limiter just for safety. And then the auto filter kind of filters things out naturally. Compressors on there, not doing anything, and some ping pong delay. At the end, it can kind of ring out, which is neat.
Mhm.
And EQ and Pro R, kind of like yeah, basic preset. Just increased the space, gave it a bit of depth, and yeah. And my philosophy, I guess, I think I've explained this to you once or twice,
Mm.
is use the sound to kind of create an image,
Mm-hmm.
and there's like symbolism, and
Mm.
like there's like a little bit of symbolism in each track, and in
Oh
this
yeah.
one, that was a horse galloping
I thought it was also a train. To me, it sounds like
or
a
a
chugga chugga
train, like
chugga
it,
chugga
because
chugga
that's all they
chugga
had
chugga.
back then
Yeah,
were
train.
trains, and that it
Yeah,
would get robbed. Or, yeah,
yeah,
probably more likely a train. Scratch that. It's
yeah,
not a horse; it's a train,
yeah.
and it's just a train in the background,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a synth,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
that kind of is I don't know what a device, a literary device to paint a picture in the
Yeah,
mind, in the mind's eye.
this I say that this is a cinematic track.
Yes.
It's very cinematic because it takes you into a visual space. The sonic elements take you
Yeah.
into a visual space in your imagination.
Things
At
are
least it does
panned.
for
There's
me.
lots
Yeah.
of room. There's things there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's basically the
What's the
track.
yellow? What's the yellow though?
The L, this one down here.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a little synth idea that
We never
we
used.
never
Yeah.
used.
Oh, I really like that though. I
Yeah.
remember thinking it's so cool, but there's a reason why we didn't use it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah. I feel like we should use it for something else.
kilohertz one. Yeah, I'll probably use it for something else.
But it has a very.
It's a Swedish synthesizer.
It kind of reminds me of. Interesting that it's Swedish. That looks. Even the interface looks Swedish.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Twin Peaks sound almost.
Yeah. I don't think it fit.
No, it didn't fit.
We both agreed it didn't
Yeah, it was a little
fit.
too like 80s sounding.
Well, yeah, and like this is like a 90s digital kind of
Can
synth
you
thing.
just clear that way for a sec? I want to ask, why don't we just play a little bit of everything together just for the sake of hearing everything?
Just for the sake of that. Okay, so this
Yeah.
is not mixed, so it might sound a little
Oh,
bit
it's
different
not
than the one
mixed.
you listen
Right. Okay.
to. So it might sound a little weird to us.
It's so weird, like the experience of listening to something unmixed. I always have like a little bit of attachment to the unmixed version. And it's not that the mixed version isn't good, it's amazing. But I do remember the way it used to sound before we mix it. And I kind of also like it. It's just a different sound. You can hear things differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Anyway, I'm very proud of this. I hope
Yeah.
you are too.
and it's definitely it was not it was one of those ones where just like we need to take a detour in the
Yeah.
album.
Yeah.
And we're thinking of like sequences and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, but this kind of ties the record together in a certain way.
Yeah.
But yeah, the record's extremely diverse. It's almost like a mixtape concept where you're listening to a playlist. And yes, there's definitely a theme. And it feels like it's all, one thing, but there's a lot of diversity and yeah, it was quite the thing to make. It's fun to finally be able to share some of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was just waiting.
It was our first project
Yeah.
together. And actually, I don't know if you've told everyone this, but like one of the tracks, well, two, there's so many stories, but two of
Yeah.
the tracks were like right at the beginning when we first met. We recorded them
Mm-hmm.
as like something, because that was the pretext when we first met for us, like even hanging out, was we were really into, music and
Yeah.
music production and stuff. So, the first time Brent came to Galliano, he brought a little synth. What kind of synth was it? I
I
can't.
brought
It
the
was a mini
snow.
virus.
Yeah, mini
Yeah, it was
snow
a
right
mini
there.
virus, and he brought a little recording
And
setup,
this
and we
microphone, and
recorded.
then
Yeah,
yeah,
we recorded what ended up being the song "So High," the
yeah,
original version of that, and then one of the maybe a few times later, we met in Vancouver at his place, and he had a little bedroom studio at the time. And I sat on the edge of his bed and had my guitar, and
yeah.
we
I
worked on.
DI'd your guitar, and
Yeah.
then I bought this thing. Oh, I don't know if it'd be. I bought that the NT1A. Smell my armpit. No, and
And
yeah,
yeah,
we
we
just
set it
we
up,
hit record.
and then I had some, again, from my little pouch of songs I pulled out on my phone, these lyrics that I had, and I'd actually used them for a completely different song, or it was totally arranged in a different way, but I was like, this works with what you're
Yeah.
doing. We were jamming,
Yeah.
and we recorded it, and the vocals that we recorded on that day are the ones on the record, because they
Yeah.
were so, there was something so, and it was in an
Yeah.
improv that's actually ending up being like,
So if you listen closely,
Yeah.
you can hear me burp and fart now. So
no.
yeah, no, we
No,
just
you were on
like
your best behavior at that time.
I was like, yes, sitting up straight.
Yeah, that was really cool. I'm
Yeah.
I'm super happy. I can't wait to share that one. That's not
Yeah.
going to be out until probably March.
Yeah, but that was a fun one. Like, yeah, there's a lot of really fun tracks with interesting backstories.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's great. Well, I mean, is there anything else we want to talk about with this one? I guess.
Check out the link in the description.
Yeah.
Smash that like button. No, you don't have to smash that like button. I'm sure we'll both be available in the comments if there's any questions.
Yeah. Yeah. If there's anything that we didn't cover and that you want to know
yeah.
about, share.
Yeah, and I think that's it.
Fun. It begins.
Begins.
Yeah.
Roll out Autobots.
This is the beginning of the rollout.
Yeah. So
Well, can I
yeah.
make a little?
Yeah.
So the other thing is that we're going to be touring this record, and we're going to be touring Canada, and Germany, Netherlands, Belgium, and maybe some other places, but those are currently the places we want to go. So we might go to the States too, because I've had a lot of inquiries lately. But if you are in Canada, or in Germany, Holland, or Belgium, and you would like to see us come play, like, send us a message, because you might have some good recommendations for venues. I mean, we're just booking the tour now. I have someone helping us book it, but yeah. Let us know if you want to see us live, right?
Yeah.
Brent's totally, he's like, I'm not a live performer tomorrow. I'm like, yes, you are.
Yeah. Well.
It's going to be fun.
Yes.
How can you tell he's a bit nervous?
No, I think
I'm like, you can wear sunglasses the whole time.
Yeah.
You could wear a mask. Like, you could literally just wear.
That's why people wear. But I don't
mask.
want to. Yeah, that's the kind of passe.
I know. Anyway, all right. Well, I guess that's it, huh?
I guess that's it. If I was gonna be like, if anyone has anything to say, but no one else is in here. Yeah, that's basically it.
All right.
All right, fam. Hope oh yeah, we gotta do the last chance on the thumbnail. Do you want to do like a dab, or you want to? We were doing this, which doesn't make any sense mathematically.
We're just weirdos.
We're just weird. Yep. You gotta kind of do some stuff like that because it's Canada. You'll get really cold. All right, guys. Hope you learn stuff. Take care and have a good one. And you should say stuff too.
Bye.
Bye.